truly exist, but the subject are truly exist. How can you prove it? Then Chittamatra, mindfulness school, saying that don't have to talk much. Just think about the dream. That's interesting. That in the dream, you are dreaming Pure Land. But dreamer is there. Chitra metaphysical dreamer is mind. Mind exists there. But object of dream doesn't exist there. If you're a slave in a small house, dreamer of the 500 elephants surround of you, that means your dreamer mind is there, but the object of the dream is not exist. That is the proof that mind truly exists, but the object are not truly exist. Then Chandrakirti saying that first of all, the mind is not truly exist because it not arise. Secondly, your exemplary is not validated because in a dream, dreamer and the object are exactly the same. Subject object is there's not any degree level of the degree to exist or not exist. And during your dream time, yes, both exist. But when you wake up, both doesn't exist. So you cannot bring that exemplary to prove subject exists and the object is not exist. You cannot prove it. So then, okay, dream, just forget about dream. For example, like when you do like ugliness meditation, have you heard? Okay, there's a common meditation which is a antidote for attachment, which is called ugliness meditation. Ugliness of the meditation, which mean ugliness of the meditation, which reduce our attachment. If we who are really good on it, because our mind is so flexible, becoming everything, and then have so much into this meditation, actually you will see everything skeletron, everything. Not only the object you are desire, but everything. You will have a perception of the skeleton for everything. Skeleton, okay? Everything. So then, okay, just look at that perception. His object is not obviously true. There's no skeleton as he saw. But subject, his mind is there. And then also there's another, he bring like this. Now, then Chandrakirti saying that it's a same. Because according his perception, object and subject both is true. When we look at the hand, both is false. There's no any degree the subject and object is true or not true. Is it mine? Okay, good. And then Chandrakirti say, okay, actually I can't go very detailed way, but just give some test for introduce some test for, and then what is it? Okay, now Chandrakirti, we don't have to talk about using the philosophies. Even common people know that things are arising from others. We don't need any philosophers, any logics to saying this. Even your farmers know that things are arising from others. Chitramata saying to the Madhyamaka like that way. So and then Chandrakirti said, okay. So now you are kind of using this very the ordinary people's concept to attack my theory. So so now I have no way without explaining you to truths, relative truths and ultimate truths. Then he started talking about relative truth and ultimate truths. Because when we're talking about relative truth and ultimate truths, then we will indirectly tell you relative truth are just relative. It's not reality. Ordinary people see things arising from others, it's just relative. It's not reality. Right now we are talking here is that what are reality inside. So here he is talking on here and ultimate truth and the relative truths. So how did he explain the ultimate truth and relative truths? He explained it with the exemplary. But he also giving the definition of the relative truth and the ultimate truth. And this is a huge subject. True truth is a huge subject. And also necessary to understand it. If you wish to achieve the nirvana, if you wish to achieve the Buddhahood, we definitely have to study this more. But then not easy to understand the whole immediately, Don't expect to understand the truth in a short time, unless you are really fortunate beings. Unless you have already have very strong, habit tendencies, which means in the past life, have already learned a lot. And once like that kind of person, if we just name or just show a little bit, that can be contagion to like you are weak. To you will know everything. That's unless. Otherwise, we have to take little time. Also, it's interesting because so many challenges. We have a chance to arising a lot of questions. These two truths, he said that object of perfect seeing, proper seeing or seeing, object of the proper seeing or perfect seeing is the ultimate truth. And object of the illusion, object of the dualistic mind everything are relative truths. So in this sense, sometimes it's scary. Even the Buddha himself, what we usually object are relative truth. And the law of karmas, everything are relative truths because they are the object of our dualistic mind. Object of the dualistic mind. And like ordinary beings like us, whatever we are object are relative truths. In this level, yes, law of karma is existed. Reincarnation is existed. But what we are seeing the reality or not? That is question. But we are not really seeing the reality of this phenomena. Who are seeing the reality is those noble beings, Bodhisattvas, Arhats, Pratyeka Buddhas. They see the reality. So Chandrakirti giving the example that proper eyes and damaged eyes, when they look at the same place, have a different visions. The proper eyes, when look at the clean white wall, when look at the clean white wall, see nothing. I mean, they see no hairs, no beans or flies there. But damaged eyes, when they look at a clean white wall, they see hairs and what again? Any different lines, many lines like that. They will see that. But so, like what noble beings see in a reality is just like proper eyes seeing the things. Like ordinary beings, like people like us, when we look at the things, as we are seeing as like a damaged eyes see things. So we needed to know these things through the study, through the proof of how possible the whiteboard is not truly existed. We have to study. And then I also want to say that. What's the purpose we are studying this Madhyamaka? Obviously, you are not only not getting milk from panther cow. You get milk from supermarket, from many places. You have no short of milk. So what is the purpose you want to study this Madhyamaka? It's because you want, actually, the purpose of the study Madhyamaka is you want to know you want to make sure object of the meditation. You want to make sure the path which you want to practice. You want to make sure the result which you should aim as a Buddhist, as a Mahayana Buddhist. But the real Madhyamaka, real purpose is studying is that make sure the object of the meditation. We need to make sure object of the meditation. For sake of the conversation, we have to use the object of meditation, but can be objectless. But we have to use this. If you are not sure object of meditation, obviously you can't do meditation. You don't know how to do meditation. Because as long as you have a doubt on the object, how can you focus on it? You cannot focus on it unless you can sleep probably. But you are not doing meditation. In a way, if you really want to do meditation, object which you on focus, you have to make sure on it. If you wanted to do, you wanted to meditate Mahamudra, Mahasandha, or what the highest meditation which we usually call inseparable samsara and nirvana, all those meditation levels. If you want to do meditation then you have to sure what the object first. Once you have certainty on it, then you can focus on it. You focus on it without doubt. There's no distracted by doubt. Otherwise, if you're trying to meditate, it's just going on the path with the blend, or going on the path very dark, no light. It's just like that. The purpose of the starting of the Madhyamaka, we are establishing object of the meditation. Object of the meditation, we need to know that. Then, so how to establish the object of meditation? Okay, we are Chinese and Tibetans. We have chant the Heart Sutra so many times. Form is emptiness, emptiness of form not other than emptiness, emptiness of other than form. But we don't know what does this mean. How can you do meditate on it? So this Madhyamaka philosophy is establishing that line. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Form is not other than emptiness. Emptiness is not other than form. That is the whole purpose of the reading this bunch of the pages for the establishing for that establishing of for that making sure that object. So here also many different ways, because our mind is so narrow. We cannot walk many different ways. So in many different ways to introduce the emptiness. So truth is the one of the best method, one of the best way to also we have to worry about falling in an extreme way, nihilist and eternalism. So that's why truth it bring together. I mean, truth, Chandrakirti and Nagarjuna both is very emphasizing these truths, and then and especially the ultimate truth. And when we seeing this differentiate the object of the noble beings and the object of the ordinary beings, they differentiate. Then Chandrakirti's Chittamrita logic is not valid anymore. Because Chandrakirti bring the Chittamrita bring the ordinary people's perception for attacking and proving the things arising from others, right? When Chandrakirti is showing, okay, ordinary people's perception is just like a damaged eye seeing things. Damaged eye see the lines on the way it doesn't exist there. That cannot prove that the lines are there. It's the same like ordinary people say, will see things arise. It can't prove things are truly existed there. So, and then in this way, we also can understand what the meaning of the ultimate truth and the nature of the truth. Okay, if you have a question.
Thank you, Khenpo. I want to ask the question I asked you just now before the break. Can you give us some examples of the first school of people in real time?
I forget. Can you repeat again your question?
Okay, you mentioned there's 4 different groups of people challenging this Nagarjuna teaching. Can you give us the example of the first group of people relating to this current situation?
Current situation.
Can you give some example? Like
you mean the samchayas?
Yes.
Yes, samchayas. Are you in a Buddhist group, or they are really? I made a little bit confused here. The opponent of the 4 arising, for not arising, and 4 schools of the Buddhism are different. 4 schools of the Buddhism no Buddhism will believe things are arising itself. So that is sure. Only, all Buddhists believe things are not arising from itself. That's already sure. Vibhashika school don't believe things are arising from itself. So the Tantrika school do not believe things are arising from itself. Chittamrita and Madhyamaka, none of them believe. Only Samchaya, who is the Asian non-Buddhist or Hindu philosopher, actually found fundamental foundation of the many sub-schools of the Hindus is the Samchaya. And they believed things arising from itself, as I explained. So your question, how to apply right now?
who is the closest right now to this group of people in our current society?
Current society.
Yes.
Maybe we have a quite intrinsic habitude of ham. Then have you ever think in anything is arising from itself? Have you? Do you think? Well, when I'm studying Madhyamaka philosophy, many of our classmates, they said, okay, things are arising. Actually, both. Things are arising from self and arising from others, both. Like what Jen is say like that. We kind of believe like that. Then also in ordinary people sometimes, oh, this is my son. It's born from my son, my daughter. They say we have a kind of we have some habit tendency of clinging sadness. Some sadness, we have a clinging. For example, like sadness, some clinging to sadness. Those are having some tendency of hysteria. Sadness, cause and result. They have a sadness. We think there are something. It's a same, right? For example, right now DNA. Okay, we just talk about DNA. Fathers and sons, DNA is same. We think like that, right?
Yeah.
But actually, if you do a little bit for analyze, it's completely different, isn't it? Father's DNA is arising from, it's already in father's flesh or blood. Son's DNA, it's son's blood, and it's completely different. Cause is different, place is different, color is different, all different. But in just our concept, thinking it's the same. It cannot be same, isn't it? It's different. And in reality, it's not the same. And then also the timing is different, all different. But we have a tendency to clinging the same. That is also influenced by clinging of the permanent. Things are permanent. Those are having, it's a kind of close to of the Samjaya's theory. They have some theory. But the real Samjaya, it apparently doesn't exist anymore in this world. Who are holding this real Samjaya's theory? We trying to find someone to clarify the theory. We couldn't find. Whoever the Hindus looks like changed their theories. Sometimes some philosopher, Buddhist philosophers saying that maybe Chandrakirti, for sake of understanding us, he created that kind of samjaya, but didn't exist in the past. They're seeing like this way, but because right now those old Hindus theory is not the same as like what Chandrakirti described the opponent of samjaya in the text. Then also another way is quite understandable, because the theories will be changed. Like in our Buddhist revolution, theories revolution, after Buddha, the Vibhashika comes first. And then Sutra Tantrika refuting some Vibhashika theories. And after then, Madhyamaka and Chandramitra comes. So it looks like theories also changed, some theory. But the fundamental or principal view, like 5 unique views, or four unique views, 4 silks of Dharma, 4 silks of Dharma. Those are the not changed much. But others theories or different beliefs, it changed. So in Hinduism, also could be changed. So anyway, now there are those Hinduism who believe created by the Shiva things. But this Samjaya is usually don't believe God, creator God, but they believe creator principle. It's just a different name when it's a sound, but they Samjaya believe the principle of self that one is not consciousness. They believe it is a functional, permanent creator, but no mind, no knower, no it doesn't it is not subject. They explain many very details all those things. So then other like opponent of the who believe things arising from others, it's really close for nowadays us. Like we think things arising from others. Do you think smoke comes from other than smoke? Smoke, smoke comes from other than smoke. Usually we believe the smoke comes from others, other fire or wood, right? Smoke comes from others. We believe like that, right? But our belief is it's close to the reality or not. We should discuss now. Our beliefs can be wrong belief. That's what, according to Chandrakirti, yes, wrong belief. Belief is wrong belief. So then, who don't believe, cause and condition, who believe comes from nothing. That's just now I have discussed. He said it's like very close to modern people's thinking. Who don't believe the cause and condition, like reincarnation, they just come from coincidentally. It's no cause, things arising from no cause. Things arising from no cause. That is actually this is not this theory is just not new. It's already 2,000 years ago. Even Buddha himself also criticized on it. That means 2,500 years ago in India have already existed this Charvakayana tradition. Those are this Charvakayana is actually really great philosophers. They debate. They do not very believe like God. They do not believe the spirit. They do not believe any other like reincarnations, karma, cause conditions. They don't believe things. Only believe what they see. Only believe the things what they see. It's a really modern people's. It's very close to our modern people. Materialistic. It's very. So yes. So those are the Chandrakirti is really smart and skillful. That's why he trying to bring those four opponents and discuss in text with them. It's actually introduce us to understand the reality. But otherwise, he had no purpose to defeat them. No point to defeat them. It looks like he purposely challenging them. Purposely, he debating a lot of those opponents. But it's because those top philosophers, between them have a discussion, and he's showing the reality through the logic. And then once we see all those subtle lines or understand the things, then it's make very easy to convince. Our convince will be conviction will be very stronger. Okay?
Thank you.
What is the meaning of a cause? What meaning of the cause?
When you say it's a cause,
Mhm.
what